his 19-year-old girlfriend, Katie. Now, these two teenagers have a special bond that is maybe 1 in a million. So what is it that makes them the ultimate soulmates? Well, they're both transgender. That's right, Arin was born Emerald, and Katie was born Luke. Today, they're with us in this first exclusive daytime interview. This couple is here to share their love story, their struggles, and an important message about acceptance. Listen to their story.
From a very young age, both Katie and Arin realized they were different.
When I was younger, as a little kid, growing up as a little girl, you know, my mom put me in dance and put me in pageants, and I did all that fun little girl stuff. But as soon as I would be done with that, I'd run home, rip it off, go play in the dirt with the guys, and I just felt like I didn't fit in.
I knew at about the age of 4 that something was really wrong, you know, that I was never supposed to be a boy. I remember rushing to the bathroom, looking at my mom with just, you know, despair, and I was pulling on my penis, and I was screaming at her, you know, off, off, I don't want this on here, it's not supposed to be here. I felt really uncomfortable in the clothes and even my own skin.
Both children were bullied by their peers.
I was bullied in every way imaginable. Some of the names I was called was, you know, gay, lesbian, transvestite, tranny, and I've been punched and kicked and pushed and shoved and spat on.
I didn't have too many friends, and after 2nd grade, I really just stopped hanging out with a lot of people because they didn't want to hang out with me. I was the oddball.
After years of emotional turmoil, as teenagers, they convinced their families to help them transition from the sex they were born as to the sex they felt they were meant to be.
When I was about 15 years old, it came down to the deciding factor. Either I was going to transition and be male, or I wasn't going to be here anymore because I was so unhappy being female.
When I came out to my mom, and she looked me deep in the eyes and she said, I will do anything to make sure that you stay alive. I want you to write me a list of however many things you want to get done to make you happy, so I don't have to come home every day and be afraid I'm going to see you dead on the floor.
Both teens took drastic steps to change their appearance.
I had chest surgery to remove my breast within a year of starting testosterone.
To get on hormones and to be called Katie, not Luke. She, not he.
All their young lives, these teens struggled in isolation, just wanting to be understood and accepted. With their transformations nearly completed, the only thing missing was that special someone. That's when lightning struck. Miraculously, the two strangers with uniquely parallel lives met, and they've been inseparable ever since.
Before the break, we were talking to Arin and Katie, the transgender teen couple who has piqued the curiosity of America. Now, as a parent, I can't help but wonder about the challenges facing the mother of a young child who wants to transition to the opposite sex. So let's find out. So joining us now is Arin's mother, Denise, and Katie's mother, Jaslyn. So Denise, I'll start with you. Did you want a girl or a boy when you were pregnant?
I really, really wanted a girl.
You got your wish?
Yes.
And you called her?
Emerald.
Emerald. Do you get teary when you look back at those photos?
Almost, yeah, I still do. It's getting better, but I still do.
What's the teary bit about?
Because you know, you lose that, the mother-daughter relationship.
And we heard about Emerald going into all the pageants and dancing.
Yeah. She did awesome. She had gorgeous hair and, you know, a cute smile and pretty eyes and, you know, all the little things that you would want to throw your little girl into, and, you know, we did that.
Were things sort of starting to develop at school that started making you question what was going on?
She was always like the loner. She was always like the different child. You know, and that was hard to see because I was thinking at home, she's such this cool kid. You know, she climbs trees and she does pageants and she does dance and she's so well-rounded. But at school, she just kind of slipped away, and she was kind of, she didn't fall into the male group or the female group. I didn't know what was wrong.
Did you see an unhappiness increase or some problems?
As she hit, when she hit puberty, that's when the real signs.
And for you, Jaslyn, though, what did you think about Katie? How was Katie's behaviour different from the other boys?
About the age of 3, Katie started telling me that he wanted his parts off. Literally pull on it and say off, off. And then when he started school at the age of 5, it was just a fight constantly because he just couldn't understand why he couldn't wear a dress to school. And so I just kind of started telling Dad, I said, you know, you need to prepare yourself now that we're going to have a gay son.
Now, meanwhile, Katie and Arin, you're at school. You know, your mums are seeing it from the outside. What was happening to you at school? How were your peers? How were your school friends? Did they think you were a lesbian, or did they...
You know, I wore a plaid skirt because it was a private school, and I walked like a dude in it, you know. It's not, I mean, it was kind of there.
Yeah.
I could never walk like a girl and do what they're supposed to do. I just couldn't do it. But, you know, it was cool because the first couple of days of school, the new kids would come in, and I'd have friends for a couple of days before people would actually tell them not to hang out with me.
And what about for you, Katie? What was happening? Meanwhile, what was happening for you at school?
Well, I went to a public school, so I had more restrictions. I covered my body because I was so ashamed of myself. You know, I was ashamed of my body, and I would wear jeans in the summer and a big black coat to disguise myself. And so, you know, I tried to be incognito so no one would pay attention to me. I did the exact opposite. I almost made myself want to be excluded so no one would judge me or hurt me.
Did kids judge you and hurt you and bully you?
Definitely.
What did they do?
From everything from verbal exclusion and physical abuse. You know, I was
What, hit you?
Hit me, pushed me, shoved me, spat on me. I've had a lot of people spit on me.
How does that affect you? Because every kid wants to fit in. What did you cry? Did you act out at home? Did you just go into your shell?
I went into a deep, dark place. I was suicidal by the age of 7. I mean, that's how bad it was. Well, in Oklahoma, there's not very many people like me. I had no precedent to look up to whenever I was in
You
high
just
school
wanted
or
out
high
of the
school.
pain.
Definitely.
And did you know that? Did you know that, Justin?
I mean, I knew that she was suffering, but I didn't know. I just found out a couple years ago about the suicide attempts. I mean, you have to understand, we live in Oklahoma, and so it's a big Bible belt. You know, Arin went through the same thing. I mean, he went to a Christian school or a Catholic school.
Were they accepting?
No, I mean,
They asked me to leave because I broke the honor code.
What was the honor code that you broke?
just following the
kicked out
Bible,
of
just
school.
their honor
Just because
code.
I was different, and, you know, since I was starting to be more manly, they said I broke the honor code.
It was like a slap in the face. I mean, your child is like, I mean, the
I
character.
tried so hard to fit in for 12 years, and they said, you're not good enough for us.
That
And
was
you
our
got the
lowest point.
grown-ups that are shunning them too. It's not just the kid.
The parents?
The parents were more brutal than the children.
I've even had teachers at my public
Teachers.
school show people, you know, interviews I've done or something and let them laugh at me. They let the kids take out their iPhones and laugh at me.
Can I ask for both of you, the mums, what the real lowest point when you thought, this isn't just my kid being excluded or acting differently or anything like that?
My lowest point, when Arin's lowest point, was when he was asked to leave school. That night, he finally told me, I wanted to kill myself 4 nights ago. I actually called the suicide hotline. I was on the phone with them the entire night. I didn't sleep. And I said, why didn't you tell me? And he said, because, you know, this is what broke my heart, too. I said, why would you want to do that to yourself? I want you here as my child. He said, because you always told me your life's going to be so hard. Are you sure you want to go down this road? Are you sure? You kept telling me how hard it was going to be. He goes, well, if it's going to be so hard, why would I want to be here anymore? And, you know, as a parent, sitting there in that room with him at that moment and knowing that I didn't want to be any to blame for that. And I also knew how painful it must have been for him. And I looked down and the knife was still on the floor. And this was like 4 days before that. And I thought, I don't want to bury my child. And I think every parent needs to know they need to listen to their kid. You don't want to lose the child over it.
But you felt that low. Did you think that with your mum saying that she'd finally gotten to a place where she really, really understood how much this meant?
She didn't really understand, but she came to a point where it doesn't matter if I understand, if I'm not on board with it, I need to do this for your mental happiness.
Yeah. Did that help? That must have been a load off your shoulders. What do we need to do to sort this out?
It took a while to get a load off my shoulders.
Yeah.
It took, you know, getting top surgery, you know, weight off my chest, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. What about for you, Jaslyn, then? When was that moment when you thought, oh, heck?
Ours was a lot more intense. I came home one day, and Katie was in her bedroom. as soon as she came home from school every day, she locked herself in her bedroom. We never saw her. And, you know, I had tried everything, and just something told me, you go to this door. And I went to the door, and I begged for her to let me in. And when I got in the room, Katie was in a fetal position and just wailing, because I could hear her crying. And the cry was just different than, I mean, she cried herself to sleep every single night for 8 years that I know of. And I had to go to sleep every night listening to her cry because I couldn't find a way to help her. And the whole time I just thought she was just trying to come up with a way to tell me she was gay. And I got down on the floor with her, and I just literally remember grabbing her and almost just in an anger. You've got to tell me, you know, what is wrong? I can't do this no more. I'm not gonna watch you die. I'm just not gonna do this. And I am not leaving this room until you tell me how I can save you. And I just remember, I'm like, you know, just tell me. And I said, you're gay. I know it. Just tell me. And she just looked at me and with this anger, and she's like, I'm not gay. I'm transgender. And I thought, I'm thinking transvestite. I thought, okay, so you want to dress up in girls' clothes. I got a whole closet in there.
And Katie gave you a list.
And I asked her, I said, you tell me what you want me to do. You make me a list, and I swear to God, if everything in my power, if I don't care, and if it kills me, I swear to you, I will complete everything on that list.
Just to keep her alive. So, Denise, coming back to you, and we were kind of almost joking before about the weight off your chest, Arin. How was it for you as a mom watching, you know, your daughter go through that operation, and there's no turning back from that?
I only had one sad moment, and it was after he was wheeled away, and I stood in the hallway before I went out to the waiting room with my mom, and my sister was waiting for me, and I had a, you know, little tiny breakdown moment, like, this is it. This is his final step, and it was the final step of letting go of Emerald and letting go of that female part of him.
Now, Arin actually documented your chest surgery, and we have some exclusive footage to show everyone. Let's take a look at that.
From a very young age, both Katie and Arin realised they were different.
I knew at about the age of 4 that something was really wrong. You know, that I was never supposed to be a boy.
When I was about 15 years old, it came down to the deciding factor. Either I was going to transition and be male, or I wasn't going to be here anymore because I was so unhappy being female.
Both teens took drastic steps to change their appearance. Miraculously, the two strangers with uniquely parallel lives met, and they've been inseparable ever since.
Arin actually documented your chest surgery, and we have some exclusive footage to show everyone. Let's take a look at that.
The day had finally arrived. Arin was going to take the biggest step yet towards transitioning into a man.
This is tissue that gets removed from liposuction. This is tissue that is removed surgically with scalpel electrocautery.
The time had come for Denise to say goodbye. Everyone was a bit nervous, but hopeful for what the future would bring.
Love you. See you when you get done.
All right. Okay. Love you.
Bye. Love you, baby.
Ready? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. It's gonna be awesome.
The surgery to remove Arin's breast tissue took a total of 3.5 hours. After the successful operation, Denise was happy to be reunited with a groggy Arin and to share her feelings about the outcome of the procedure.
I'm good. Yeah. Okay. I feel really loopy.
Do you?
Yeah, they put some morphine in me.
Okay. They said it looks really awesome.
Did they?
So, Katie and Arin, what do you think it's important for people to know?
We're just regular people trying to, you know, take back what we missed, part of our childhood, or whether that be our adult life. We are just trying to catch up and be happy. And
Katie, I know you're quite a powerful speaker, because I understand it was at one of your talks that you gave that you had an anonymous donor who paid for your college and all your operations, everything.
Yes.
Is that right?
Like I said, I was the first open transgender to ever graduate or come out in Oklahoma. I was the very first one. I didn't have a precedent to look up to. There was no one before me. And I was actually at this, it was a Jewish camp, and it was the subject of judgment. And when they called me up, I gave my 2-hour speech about my life, my memoir of my life, asked questions, and someone in the audience, you know, heard my speech, who told someone, who told someone, who told someone. And a couple months later, they called my mom on her birthday, and they said, we have some great news, and we have someone, anonymous donor, who wants to pay for Katie's surgery and her college and whatever else that she needs to get her through this time in her life.
I had completed everything on the list, except number 10, which was Katie's reassignment surgery. I don't make a whole lot of money, and I knew that was my hardest hardship. How am I'm never going to be able to complete this number 10. I wrote the donor a big letter, and I mean, there are no words that could ever express what this person has done for me.
I had to write a 5-page essay of why I wanted the surgery, what made me, you know, feel like I deserved it.
Did it save your life? Do you think it saved your life, this surgery?
Yes, it definitely did.
It saved your life.
I can only say thank you. That's all
This person kept me from being a failure as a mother. I was able to complete my whole list. You know, I was able to keep my full promise to Katie because of this person.
Well, since someone did this for me, if I ever make the money, if I ever make enough money or do something with myself, the very first, you know, amount of money that I make, it's going towards someone else's surgery.
Well,
that's
can
how
I
I'm
just
going to
say,
give
just by being here today, just by talking so honestly about what you all have been through, you've probably done what, you know, a lot of money couldn't do. Tell a lot of young people, a lot of people out there, that it's, you know, how they're feeling, there is a way forward, and that there's a place for them in this world.
That's what my biggest point of the story is that it's not just about that we're normal. What I would tell people is that, for one, listen to the children. That even though you think they're young and they might be ignorant, or you think that they don't know what they want, you have to listen to them, because
it's not always a phase.
It's not always.
It's not always.
Usually,
it's just for the same reason you know you're a boy or a girl.
And
they know who
if I was
they
to
are.
ask you, how would you know if you were a girl? You just say, I just knew. And that's how it was for us. It was
You just
knew.
I want to thank you so, so much for being here today. Okay, we have to take a break, but we'll be right back.